Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kentauri Dreams. In today's video, we're going to be flying the promised interplanetary mission using the epic craft I built pre-recording, the Midas 1. This lovely build, which I'm going to explain to you in a moment, is going to bring us to Duna. So the Midas 1 has many elements. It is a launch vehicle designed to bring this Apollo-style payload to Duna. So basically, it consists in a very interesting design. The module that will bring the entire thing to Duna is an Apollo command pod, a service bay, and a large fuel tank with the recently unlocked Wolfhound engine. The one I unlocked on the Minmus mission that I flew just before making this video. This is also going to be reconfigured so that it can carry this, the Duna lander. Of course, I'm using a very interesting part, a new part, one that I also used on my Minmus mission, because I just thought it would look quite cool in this situation. Of course, it has a service bay with many experiments to run and a bit of fuel to power these emergency engines if this ascent stage doesn't work. So, I actually just realised I need to add something, because, of course, I ended up forgetting the landing gear. But I shouldn't really be worrying about this stuff, because, well, actually, I kind of should. Why did I say that? I'm going to start showing you a bit more. So the stage that is going to be kicking us into orbit and is going to do our Duna transfer is this lovely top 2.5 meter stage, powered by a single Mastodon engine, and the bottom part includes a large fuel tank and a mainsail engine supported by 2 large Pollux boosters. Luckily, I think I'm done with explaining to you the craft. Yeah, I think this is a substantial explanation. So, I think it's time to engage the in-editing commentary for our launch. But that's only when we do launch. The mission, as I said, is in an Apollo style. So, once we're able to, once we've finished our Duna, our burn to get to Duna, our rough burn, of course, there will end up being a mid-course correction. Once we've finished that, we will end up, and there we are. We will end up going just using the upper stage. So, I think I've talked for long enough. Time to switch to in-editing commentary. Let's go. So the launch started up fine, launching quite well from the pad and flying up fairly quickly with my SRBs. Of course, they ran out and I was able to separate them with what I newly unlocked as separation motors. These came in handy as I had multiple failed launches because the boosters slammed in. I also ended up needing to put some life support on because in my building I'd completely forgotten it. This ended to a whole cycle of making stuff, making modifications, which ended up with what you have here. So, now to cut to live in orbit. And here we have it. Our ship is in orbit. I don't have as much Delta V as I'd like in this kick stage, but that is not to matter because the upper stage has more than enough Delta V. As I said on launch, I added a bunch of life support stuff for waste or stuff like that, which increased the mass, so I had to increase the number of SRBs, you know, the cycle goes on. But here we are in orbit and ready. The Duna transfer window will be happening in, as Astrogator says, in precisely 42 days, 4 hours, 59 minutes, and 50 seconds. And we've got more than enough Delta V to do this transfer. So, I'm going to now cut to when I'll begin my manoeuvre. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Duna orbit at last. Oh my goodness, you don't want to know how many struggles I've had with just with trying to make this video. There's the bit between, I just don't want to talk about it. It made me proper cross. So, to go on a different note, Bob needs to transfer now from the main command module into the lander, because what's a Mars mission without landing on Mars? Luckily, the ship with this ship, the mothership is designed, the mothership's designed to be able to keep our lovely engineer Bill very happy for quite a while. I believe he's got over a year and a half of life support. So, if these guys end up crashing, he can always return home. I admit, with the sadness of them crashing. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because it is now time for our descent. So we're going to orient the craft to retrograde and activate the thrusters. Make a little burn away from the mothership, and now I think we can cue the music. Just to let you know, we're starting re-entry. Let's lower the volume of the music because it is time for our final part of re-entry. We're going to arm those parachutes, get them to their minimum pressure, and put their altitude of deployment up a bit. And now, to aid with our slowing down, we're going to reactivate our big engine. Well, it's not that big of an engine, but, to say that it gets the job done would be an understatement. It gets the job done very, very well. Got these 3 parachutes, which should help us in the deceleration, as they have just been deployed. These would also serve as an emergency service if this descent module fails to lower our speed fast enough. But I don't think that's going to be a problem, because look at that, ladies and gentlemen, our parachutes have been deployed. We're going to cut our engine and wait for descent, and wait for our final landing burn. And I think it is time to lower our time warp rate. Get ready for our final deceleration burn to put us down on the surface of Duna. And for our first interplanetary flag. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, a historic moment for all of Kerbal kind, I'm sure. Of course, it wouldn't be a landing, a Kerbal landing, if it didn't have a couple of little bounces just before. And, of course, we've landed on our side. But, not to worry, because, you know, I think this is justified. I think I can justify this, this little, oh look, our craft righted itself. How brilliant. The Parallax didn't seem to like it or agree with it. So I guess I'm just gonna be, and now Parallax has just decided to completely disappear, which is, a phenomenon I haven't witnessed before. But I think we've landed. What would you say, everybody? We've landed? Yeah, I think we have. Our first interplanetary landing. Trying to slow ourselves down because we're kind of sliding a bit. But I think the sliding is the least of our. Worries because we've got a flag to plant. A very good flag. The flag of our space agency. We have now landed on Duna, everyone. Round of applause, round of applause. Have landed on Duna. So we're just going to let it slide. But actually, I think it's time to begin our surface operations. Of course, Parallax is now regenerated. Don't ask me how this glitch works because I've actually never had it before. So, we're going to plant our flag and then head after our lander, which looks like it's trying to run away. And the site is Western Canyon. Landed. And we inscribe the plaque with hooray! And now, Jeb will take a surface sample. Oh, yes. And an EVA report. Now I think it's time for Jeb to get back into his lander, which is running away from him. He'll need to stop his jetpack and actually run himself, because on Duna, jetpacks really aren't much use. I say that, though, as I'm about to use one, because they are useful for making big jumps. And we have rejoined the main module. We're now going to open all of that big science and start to log the data. And, well, after having finished the finagling that we needed to do, Bob Kerman just walks alongside his craft and wonders, I think we should probably get out of here, because that sandstorm isn't gonna get any further away. But I think that's beside the point, because I would like to get Bob into my lander and then just wait for the next orbit of the mothership, wait for an ideal point to launch at. Because, of course, as I said, that sandstorm doesn't seem to be going away. Yes, dump the experiment. So, we're slowly drifting down. But we have got almost 2,000 meters per second of delta V left in this landing stage, plus these engines mounted onto the service bay if we really need to. So, I'm now gonna engage time warp. And, well, it looks like I think this is a good time for launch. So, we're going to set the -1 as our target and get ready for ascension. So, we're going to engage those engines in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ascension initiated. We're going to raise the gears, and now, cue the music. We really have quite the lovely view of the canyon as it flies below us. I think this was rather a beautiful sight to have landed at. Pity it wasn't actually inside the canyon, or on this bit, because otherwise we would have had a truly wonderful view. Not that the one we had wasn't good. So, we're now flying up. Our circularization maneuver has been plotted, and we're probably going to be actually getting to the point of near docking with these thrusters. Now, I won't actually be redocking this to the service module. Well, to the command module. I won't actually be docking it, because the command module doesn't have that much fuel remaining, and I want to have as much fuel as possible for getting back to Kerbin, just so I get a good margin. But that's out of the way, because we are turning on our engines, ready for circularization. Then we will Then we'll make our closest approach, and, well, yeah. And, well, looks like we've got an encounter here on the, intersect markers. First, we're gonna make a rough encounter, just like this. This is a sort of docking tutorial, if you, mean for it. But, yeah, I've got rough encounter, and then I will make a fine encounter, and then I'll actually do the encounter. But I think we're going to need to pause that argument for a second, because in 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we will activate our maneuver node and burn so that we get a good enough intersect. And our intersect seems to be 24.4 kilometers. So we're going to make another maneuver. Alright, and we have a 1 kilometer intersect. So, we're now going to get ready and bring us there. We're going to wait as we go above their orbit, and then we'll go below it. And hopefully right here, intersect. Alright, and nicely down at the bottom here, it shows us how long we will be intersecting this craft. So, it apparently says in 13 seconds. And look, I can see it. So I'm going to now press, I'm now going to go retrograde relative to target so that we get the best possible encounter. So, we have now gotten a very, very good encounter. And, well, I think it's time to get to target and burn target. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. We've docked. So now I'm going to cut my voice, and you can just see the little operations I'm going to be doing in orbit before heading back home. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we've just transferred all of the fuel that we need into this main engine. And now it's time to get the crew into the command module. But we've got more to worry about. We've only got about a year and a half until our life support supplies are completely depleted. So, we need to wait until we get a Kerbin to Duna transfer. Which would be in 15 days. How perfect and wonderful. So, we're just going to go on prograde now and kind of rocket our way out of harm's way. We don't want to be messing around there. So, now we're going to just wait for coming round to the other side of Duna, which, would you look at that, we've just done. We are now at the other side of Duna, on the light side. And, well, I think it's time to start plotting a course back home. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to now fast forward to when we'll make our maneuver, and I'll see you on Kerbin approach. See you then. Now, TACLS, TAC Life Support, what I like to call it, or otherwise known as the life support mod I use, has a few odd glitches. If you have a particularly high time warp setting, every 8 or so days, it will completely reset your electric charge for some unknown reason, even if you have solar panels on. Don't ask me how this happens, because I have no clue at all. However, one interesting system that most real-life ships, and due to TACLS, Kerbal ships have too, is oxygen scrubbers. Carbon dioxide scrubbers, which basically take out the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. However, these need electricity to function. So, I may have sort of killed Jebediah, Bill, and Bob. So, think of that. However, this also meant that we weren't able to get all of the stuff that, we're meant to have quite a bit more science than this, but I'll make do with what we have. Between this episode and next episode, I am going to be flying more missions to Duna and removing TAC life support for the time being. Don't worry, it will come back later. It's just stupid glitches like this make me want to rage quit and not make the video. This video's been long, but it hasn't been as long as last video. It's taken me a lot of days. It's taken me 3 full days to edit this video. The longest time I've ever spent editing a video. So if you guys want to give me some support, subscribing would really help a lot. And I know all YouTubers say this, but it actually does help. And whilst you're at it, maybe like the video. Anyways, I'm out, and I'll see you in the next episode of Kentauri Dreams. Bye!